Hi, I'm Alison. Welcome to Dream Chasers Adventures in Happiness, where my band of superhero guests and I share with you tales of daring do, life-changing journeys towards living our best lives. If you're after an injection of inspiration and ideas to live the life that you want and deserve, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hi there, and welcome to the show where we serve up conversation, concepts, and belief that it really is possible to create what you crave. If there's something stopping you from pursuing happiness, whatever that looks like to you from a career or lifestyle point of view, the stories and insights covered here are designed to help. Today, I am joined by the awesome Mark Franklin. Mark is a trainer and speaker with over 20 years' experience supporting small business owners to overcome what he calls their 4 fears, the most common barriers preventing them from having the business of their dream. For any self-employed business owner, and any of you who dream of running your own business, Mark's mission is to help you see and believe that you are good enough, you are ready, you do have time, and that actually failure can sometimes be the greatest gift you give to your story. Today, we're going to talk about the work that Mark does, how and why he took the plunge himself and moved from a corporate career in publishing into self-employment just over a year ago, his biggest learnings in doing so, and the surprise plot twist that was part of his journey. So welcome to the show, Mark.
Hey, hi Ali. Thank you so much. Plot twists. Ooh, like a good plot twist in a story.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. Listen, thanks so much for coming on.
No worries.
Can we start with your background? And can you tell us a bit about the type of work that you were doing in the publishing field?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a graphic designer by trade. That is my secret past. So studied visual communication design at uni. I was really passionate about this idea of sort of storytelling, I suppose, on behalf of my clients. So whatever their kind of brief or project was, this idea of telling their story in a way that most resonated and connected with their audience, that kind of sort of marketing 101 of kind of capturing their attention, capturing their imagination, capturing their heart. That's kind of what really excited me about being a designer. And end of 2000, I think it was, I joined a children's book publishing company as a marketing designer for one of the sales divisions. It was sort of direct selling division, essentially. So they had a couple of thousand people who were self-employed, just working in their communities, kind of sharing the books and earning commission on what they sold. And my job was to create the marketing collateral, the leaflets, the brochures, the sales literature. And also because it was kind of incentive driven, anything to do with incentives and events, any kind of little hand grenades of excitement that we could create to encourage them to sell a few more books, basically. That was me.
Okay, fair enough. And you did this for a long time. You had a long and successful career doing this, but I know that when you were effectively trying to help them with their marketing, but in that process, you learned that actually the problem wasn't marketing. Is that right?
Absolutely right. Yeah. And again, it was a kind of really interesting kind of journey for me, but never in a million years when I left uni will I imagine I was, end up doing this kind of crazy stuff. But one of my kind of strengths or personality traits, I suppose, is kind of learner, that curiosity thing. My boss always used to call me the brat because I'd always be knocking on her door saying, I've got another question. And what I was kind of thinking in terms of creating these lovely marketing things, these hopefully objects of beauty that were kind of, inspire and delight people. The more I kind of worked into that, the more questions I asked about, okay, so who are these people? What is it that's kind of motivating them to go out and sell these books and so on and so forth? And the more time I actually spent with these people, because I kept saying to my boss, let me go out, let me spend time with them, let me listen to what it is that works for them and how they work. So what I kind of discovered is no matter how good the leaflets and the brochures and the incentives were, if they didn't align with what it was that actually made these people want to do this in the first place, their kind of, their hidden why, then I'm not saying we were wasting our time, because as I say, you were kind of creating little moments that caught their attention. But they had a very personal reason for getting up in the morning and going out and doing whatever it is that they did. And the more we explored that, and the more we listened to their stories, again, coming back to that storytelling, the more we kind of found out why are these books important? Why is working in your community important? Why is children's education and literacy important? All those kind of hidden stories beneath the surface. The closer we got those people connected to that kind of hidden why, the more inspired and motivated they were to actually go out and be brave, essentially. Because, and you'll know this as much as I do, when you find that thing that's really, really important to you, it becomes a little bit easier to go out and do the things you need to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's basically what we started to do. And over the kind of, it was 23 years I was in that role. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was 23 years. I kind of moved from, and I ended up running sort of the division in 2013. So about 13 years after I started. At that point, I had this kind of mindset of, it's not actually about the books. It's about these people. It's about these people's stories. And the more we can help them be brave in achieving the things that are important to them, the more success they will find. And then, of course, in terms of the big boss sitting above me, the more success I would create for him. And that's where we went. And that's kind of how it kind of grew.
Really interesting. I want to come back to this idea of the personal why in a moment. Yeah. But just before we do, so you obviously had a really long and successful career doing this. What was it that made you want to go out on your own and start your own business after all of that time?
Very long story short, it broke me, basically. So I had this amazing team, absolutely phenomenal. We were all kind of aligned in this plan of, the more we help these people write a better story for their family, that was kind of our vision, the more success we would find. And it was going so well. It was going so well. We're up to, I think, 2015. I had the audacity. This sounds crazy when you think back. I had the audacity to stand up on stage at a big event and say to like the sales force, right, we're going to grow the business 20% every year on year for the next 5 years. That'll take us to being a £10 million company. We can do this. You can do this. It's going to be fantastic. And again, we broke that kind of journey down, these little 20% stretches in terms of, if you're sharing 5 books today, why don't you share 6? And if you're having 10 conversations this week, why don't you have 12? And turning all those extra conversations and that extra book around in terms of what difference will it make to your story. And everyone was bought in. And it was fantastic. And we did it in 4 years, in fact. So at the end of 2019, we were there.
Right.
And that 20% stretch year on year in terms of sustaining the growth of the business, we were on track. The infrastructure was there. We had plans of growing all the kind of boring stuff like, can the servers handle the sales and can the warehouse handle deliveries? Brilliant. Start of 2020. And I'm one of those people, I feel very strongly that it's not the event, it's your response to the event that kind of creates, the success or not. But in that particular moment in time, but I think 30% of our business, over 30% of our business was in Europe. Brexit had really hit. We had to shut down 11 territories. Bearing in mind, up until that point, we'd been working so closely with all these amazing people saying, it's your story. We're going to help you unlock success, whatever that looks like for you. And then I had to turn around and say, sorry, we're pulling the plug.
Wow.
From a business point of view, it made perfect sense. From an emotional point of view, bearing in mind the relationships I had with these people as well, I've been in some of their homes and things like that. That really hurt.
Yeah.
Then we had the pandemic, which was really good for business because everyone needed children's books and everyone was teaching at home and everyone needed to earn a bit of extra money. So the business went through the roof and we couldn't sustain that. And I spent like 2 years just firefighting and in meetings, just trying to get servers back online and find out why the warehouse wasn't kind of keeping up, all this kind of stuff that just didn't, just wasn't in my wheelhouse and didn't excite me.
Yeah, all the operational stuff.
Yeah. And we got through. I don't know how we got through. I know we lost a lot of trust, which again, trust was for me one of the big success stories. That it's why it worked. It's why we kind of carried this huge community with us. But we got through it. September 21, we did put on this massive event, kind of a relaunch. Here we are. We're back. We've survived. We've got all these big plans. We're going to move forward together. It was phenomenal. Everyone was excited again. Stupidly having that many people in the room, bit of a super spreader event. I got COVID. Went home, thought, okay, I don't feel too bad. It's right. I'll keep going. It's fine, you know. Worked from home, didn't go to the office for obvious reasons. 2 weeks later, went into the office. Waiting for me at my desk was this data request from an individual, you know, within GDPR, all that kind of fun stuff. And I forwarded it onto our DPO and said, can you handle this? And she turned around and said, no, I can't. You're going to have to sort it out. And I don't know why that was the trigger, but I remember putting the phone down. I can't remember if I actually cried, but I was very, very close to tears if I didn't.
Yeah.
Came out of my office, went to our general manager, said, I don't feel very well. I'm going home. I took 2 months off. And in that 2 months, I think all of that kind of everything that had been building up, all that stuff that I'd kind of carried for all that time, just really, really hit me. Yeah. Went to pretty dark places, if I'm honest. And sort of working through that, realized that I couldn't keep doing it. I don't know. Yeah, this is quite a common story now. We're hearing this a lot about sort of, burnout and so on and so forth. But
it's a brave move, though. It's a brave move to make the decision, or to recognize that it was having that detrimental effect. It wasn't likely to get any better, and to actually make the decision to go, you know what, I'm going to put myself and my health first.
Yeah,
something different.
Yeah, I'm kind of jumping ahead to sort of where I am now. What the big difference is. Again, in that moment, you don't see it, but one of the sort of the big things that I think really kind of hit me here in coming through the other side was when you had like really close friends, and even my wife sort of turned around and said, "Oh, we've got our mark back." And it's like, shit, how bad were things? That I wasn't even being myself anymore. So yeah, it was a case of, right, I can't do this. I need a kind of extraction plan. Which took a little while because I didn't want to let my team down again. I wanted to kind of wind things up in a way that meant they could keep going. But it's like, right, why do I want to get out? What am I going to do? It's like, well, I'm going to do all the things that I used to love, that I still love, but I'm going to do it my way.
On your own terms. Yeah. Love it.
And that's where we are. So,
can you tell us a little bit about what it is you help small business owners with today? Like, can you paint a picture of the 4 fears and the ways in which you deliver support to people? Like, what are you doing?
What am I doing? Making that, what's going along? Yeah. What am I doing? Again, it comes back to that sort of write a better story for your family. I think, I've been through coaching programs. I've worked with people. I've got to coach myself. I understand the importance of having someone you can kind of turn to and lean to and have that kind of accountability. But knowing that what's in front of you is yours, and what you can and can't do is kind of up to you. And the biggest hesitation, or the biggest obstacle we have in our own kind of stories, 99.9% of the time, is the thing that we tell ourselves. And the 4 fears, in essence, as you said at the start, they're the 4 most common hesitations, the things that those little mind monkeys say to us more than anything else. It's that kind of, I'm not ready, which is that kind of perfectionism element of, I'm not prepared to take action until everything's just right.
That's right. And I remember that one well. I'll just tweak this. I'll just refine this. I'll just do this extra course. I'll just there's all
I'll read that email. Totally. The I'm not good enough, which is, I think, the big one, certainly from the conversations I've had, it is that kind of that self-doubt, that lack of self-confidence, self-belief. Which again, when you actually sort of sit down and have conversations with people and reflect on all the things they have achieved, all the successes, the micro wins, they could be tiny little things that we're all guilty of overlooking because we're in that moment. But there are so many stories in our own journeys that we should be celebrating to give us back that energy.
Totally agree. It's actually one thing I get people to do, because it is so common, is to keep a little log of those micro wins. It's what I did myself when I was, trying to get my own business off the ground and feeling like I was getting nowhere, and there felt like a lot of tumbleweed, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. I started to write down every tiny thing that was good that I did, or that worked well, or that happened. And every time I felt really crappy, I would go back to that list and take a look at it and remind myself that okay, no, it's not all a disaster. There are some
Yeah.
good things in here, and I'm building momentum, and it makes a massive difference to your mindset.
It does.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, just those, like you say, those tiny little nudges to say, you got this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. Like I say, it's that event plus response equals outcome. It's the kind of those tiny little events, respond to them in a positive way, and you'll keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are we? Not enough time. We also not, which is a really interesting one, because there's that whole kind of toxic positivity around, oh, it's only 24 hours in a day, you've got the same amount of time as Beyonce, and look how successful, which is all a load of crap, frankly. The reason why we believe we don't have enough time is because, going back to that, being connected to what it is that's so important to you, that you're prepared to be brave and take action. The not enough time is almost kind of hidden beneath that, I'm not good enough, I'm not ready. That's why we're putting off the things that we should be doing in favor of the things that we might prefer to do, but perhaps don't make the biggest difference.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do what feels easy or comfortable or familiar, and avoid the big stuff.
Totally.
It's going to make a difference. Yeah.
And then the final one, which kind of overarches those three, is that kind of that fear of failure. That, what if I get it wrong? What will people think of me? What if I make myself look foolish?
Yeah.
And as I say, those are the things that typically we say to ourselves more than the other sort of hesitations. And my job really, or what I do now, is just kind of help people embrace those, not overcome or work past, because I think it's really important to recognize the fact that we're human. We have those moments, and that's okay. But again, I mean, very much like, as you say, noting things down, you can build that body of evidence to turn to. If it's a daft analogy, but I use it quite a lot. If you were taken to court, Ali, by those voices in your head saying, I put it to you, members of the jury, that Ali is not good enough to be as successful as she is. And your case for the defense would be, well, hold on a minute. Here's a bloody great book of all those moments that actually I was good enough, and all those times that I did succeed and I did move forward. And
I love that. That's a great way of putting it, because it also makes you realize how ridiculous our own mind's narrative is a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I say, that proof exists. Your inner genius has always been there. The magic that you kind of bring to the world has always been there. And the best person to kind of own and celebrate that is you. Yeah. My job is just to kind of put the gentle reminder in every now and then and say, hold on a minute, look what you did there. That's a bit special. That's it, really. That's kind of what they do.
And so you're doing it. I know you do it in various ways. So you do one-on-one coaching. You've got team workshops that you do. I know you're a regular speaker on the stage. And I think you've got a membership program that you're building at the moment, like an online one. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, just sort of launching. Well, sort of this summer, really. So it's summer 24. It's again, because it's your story. Whoever is in front of me. There's lots of different ways that need to be right for you in order to help you find your genius, find that kind of bravery and clarity. So I'm kind of bringing that to you. You might prefer the one-to-one conversation over a period of time, where again you have that accountability, and we just kind of test and kind of nudge your bravery every now and then. It might work better in a workshop, again, depending on if it's a small business owner, sort of, micropreneur, just a one-person team, or even if it's a big corporation. Again, even though I did not enjoy all of those horrible meetings about logistics and servers and shipping and that stuff, got the experience there to help sort of teams stuck in that step back again from the kind of events and think about the response and think about the energy that serves them better. Topped up with the skills they've already got to keep moving forward.
Okay, brilliant. So since launching your own business, what are the biggest lessons that you've learned to date? And actually, I kind of want to circle by, and I don't want to interrupt you, circle back to that whole thing around a personal why, because I'm imagining that might be one of them.
Yeah, Yeah. So again, this whole write about the story for your family, that whole thing was born out of my story and my family.
Mm.
That corporate journey, for all of the kind of stress and sort of difficult times, you know, gave me fantastic opportunities, gave my family fantastic opportunities. I mean, just having, an endless supply of books in the house, which allowed my girls to kind of, learn to read early and have a very higher sort of reading level than most and do very well at school. And so all those little things were sort of experiences that I had that made me think, well, I want everyone else to have that experience. That's why I'm going to use this. But yeah, now in terms of being out on my own, in terms of writing that better story, I suppose the number one thing that I've learned coming back to we've got our mark back is how happy I am. It's and it sounds really silly, but oh my God, people keep saying to me, "Oh, how's your business going?" And no, if you look at the finances, I'm not making the kind of money I was when I had a proper job, but bloody hell, I'm so happy. I get up in the morning, I wander into my little office here, and I'm beaming. I'm like, oh, what are we going to do today? Who are we going to speak to? What fun are we going to have? And that's the energy that I kind of used to have when I was really on fire with my team and that job that I did love that job because I loved the people, and I've got that energy back. But now I get to kind of pick and choose who are the brave and brilliant people that I get to play with.
Yeah. You can absolutely tell you love it from the energy that you have just talking about what you do. And it's amazing, isn't it? Because I know an awful lot of my clients who make switches of, all sorts of varieties, and I was the same. It's amazing the difference it makes when you're doing what you love, whatever that might be. And it makes a difference it has a knock-on effect. If I go back to that whole thing about personal why, I stole a line years ago from a guy from Microsoft who I think stole it from somewhere else. And the tagline is, the tide that lifts all boats. And for me, what that really means is if I can help people really live true to themselves and kind of find proper fulfillment from in careers and in their lives, then those people are going to have a much more positive impact on those around them because they're happy, because both personally and professionally. So they then help to lift other people, and it creates a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So it's amazing the difference it can make when you're in the right thing and you're doing what's right for you, even though it's a tough decision and it's not it's not necessarily the easiest path one of the entrepreneur or small business owner, but and it means, I don't know about you, but for me, I don't compensate anymore. So, and I know a lot of my clients don't. So years ago when I was in big job and I was earning a very healthy pay packet, and with all of the kind of, bells and whistles of a corporate career, in order to cope with the stress of the job and the hours, I would, I would compensate with very expensive holidays, and I'd eat out a lot, and I would take taxis everywhere, and I would do all of the things that were sort of like, well, if I'm having to do this, then this is the payback, right? And now I don't need that. And a lot of my clients don't, because it's just like I don't earn anywhere near as much money, but that's okay because I'm not spending anywhere near as much money, and I'm far happier.
Obviously we've talked a little bit about the compensation sort of thought process, and I absolutely agree. Buying that, I've been there too. Gone exactly through the same thing. But you're right. You don't have to compensate. You don't have to compromise.
No.
Either as well. It's I love it.
Yeah. So, since you've been self-employed, what's been the biggest surprise? Tell us a little bit about your plot twist.
I suppose it sounds daft, really, because I suppose the biggest surprise really was how big the four fears actually kind of impact on me. Now again, I've got that history of seeing it in others and my own story. I've felt those fears in the past. I thought, there's something here. This is a nice little kind of anchor to hang a new business off. But when I first went out on my own, I was like, well, used to be a designer. I can put a few websites together. I can do some, logos and things, do a bit of branding work for people, easy money, just while I find my feet. And I was doing that kind of, I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. Just kind of, relying on some old skills that I had in the cupboard. But it was kind of fun to play with again because, I hadn't really been a designer for a long time. I'm coming back to the fact that, I went to an event, I think a month after I'd gone out on my own. I met this fantastic sort of business coach who I was chatting to, and I thought, yeah, this is someone I want to work with. She can definitely kind of help me figure out what the next year looks like. And the first thing I kind of sort of took from my conversations with her was like, what am I playing at? Why am I toying around the edges, doing these things that I know I can do, but they're not really lighting up my heart. Why don't I go back to that right at the best, that big thing, 4 fears, really throw, even parts of myself that I never even shared in the old job, just really go all in on I love helping people. The tide rises all ships. Absolutely love that. Because seeing other people's successes, their stories, that's kind of part of me writing about a story for myself. Why am I messing around? Go in on this. And that was the plot twist, because it was like, just do it. You can now. You can do whatever it is you want to do your way with the people that you want to do it with. Stop that.
Stop messing around in the safe zone.
Stop messing about. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And what you're describing is so common, because I felt the same thing when I first went out on my own. It was like, well, I could do a bit of freelance PR work, just to make sure I've got money coming in. And of course, the idea of that, when I was really, really wanted to do my own thing, was, didn't really want to do it, but it was the safe zone and it was the comfort zone. And so many people do it. It's so easy to get drawn back into doing odds and sods of the stuff that you've got skills or expertise in that didn't float your boat or wasn't your thing, and put off doing what you really, really want to do. So I love it. So you work with a coach and to get enlightened, and she helped you go, hold on, about turn.
Yeah. And again, coming back to lessons learned, I think when you're out on your own, it can be quite lonely. Yes, you've got that excitement of I'm in complete control. Every decision is mine. It's wonderful. But you still need that little, that somebody outside saying, hold on a minute. Is that really taking you, again, coming back to the sort of procrastination and the perfection, is that really serving you? And I suppose, come back to what I do, I'm now hopefully the sort
of person,
the good fairy on someone's shoulder, sort of saying, hey, let's have a little word about that.
Help you get onto yourself and recognize what you're doing, so that you can stop it and do what you're meant to be doing. Totally. Fabulous. Oh, Mark, well, listen, thank you so much. It's been amazing having you on the show. Thank you for sharing your insights and your own self-employment story. If anyone's interested in learning more about you and the 4 fears work that you do, how can they find you?
Hopefully pretty easily. So it's markfranklin.co.uk. And then on all the socials, it's Mark Franklin UK. LinkedIn and Instagram are my sort of favorite places to hang out. But
great.
You'll spot me. I'm there.
I will conclude all of your contacts and your website in the show notes.
Thank you so much.
So that's it for this episode. For the listeners, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're a small business owner currently talking yourself out of the success you're entitled to, or someone who's dreaming of going out on your own, but who fears that you can't do it or that it's not in you, hopefully this conversation with Mark has sparked some new ideas and maybe a little bit of bravery and belief that your own happy path to success really is possible. If you know anyone who would benefit from listening to this conversation and Mark's valuable insights, please do share this episode. And until next time, just know that I believe in you and your ability to create the life and career or business that you really want. So go do your thing.
Thank you for listening today. I hope our time together has got you thinking about your own adventure in happiness. So please do get in touch. I'd love to hear more about your story. And why not join our Dream Chasers Unite community? There is nothing better than an adventure shared. Until next time, be brave and go create what you crave.